Hey Yorba Linda, have you been holding off purchasing a home, waiting for that perfect opportunity? Well, now might actually be the time. Interest rates are still on their way down. We have more inventory than we've had over the last couple years to choose from in Yorba Linda. And on top of that, it's past the end of summer. There are a lot of sellers that still have their house on the market that haven't sold, and they're getting a little bit more desperate to make a deal before they decide to take their home off the market for this year and wait again until next year to put it back on the market. So because of all these factors combined, right now is actually a good opportunity for buyers to take advantage of the current market. Well, will this market last and for how long? Well, that's going to be one of the many questions we're going to be discussing on today's episode. Now, if this is your first time tuning in, hi, I'm Josh Alexander, your local Yorba Linda real estate agent, as well as host of Discover Yorba Linda, your one-stop shop for all things Yorba Linda. And I've had the privilege of helping both buyers and sellers for almost a decade now achieve their real estate goals with expert advice and proven strategies. So on today's episode, I'm going to be going over my Yorba Linda housing market forecast for the month of September. And we're going to be going over what you can expect in the Yorba Linda housing market over the next couple months. I'm going to go over one big myth that buyers have about why interest rates go down. And then I'm going to give you a brief update on the commission lawsuit with all those new rules that just went into effect this last month. And then finally, my advice for both buyers and sellers who are navigating this market. So let's go ahead and get into it. Okay, Yorba Linda, so like I normally do during these episodes, I'm not going to bore you with a bunch of data and graphs, but I do want to go over a few key things that you need to know about the Yorba Linda housing market because it's going to give you a much better idea of what to expect moving forward. So the first thing I want to point out is we went back under 100 homes active on the market in Yorba Linda. Now, the reason that's significant is because we just broke over 100 for the first time in a long time last month. However, we dropped right back down under it again. Now, that's completely normal for this time of year. Typically, we see the peak of the market happen last month, and then we start seeing homes continue to get taken off the market as we go through fall into the winter time, which is usually when we have the least amount of homes on the market. So that's completely normal. However, we are starting to see some more significant changes in terms of prices as well as how long it's taking to sell a home in Yorba Linda right now. So when we look back into the month of August, 54% of homes sold for at or above asking price. Now that's almost 10% lower than the previous month, so we are starting to see a decrease in the amount of homes selling for at or above asking price, and we're also seeing that throughout all of Orange County as well. On top of that, we are seeing homes in the Yorba Linda area sit on the market significantly longer than they have been over the last couple months. For instance, if you look at the homes that went into escrow in 2 weeks or less, just last month, it was at 65%. This month, it's at 43%. So basically over a 20% decrease in the amount of homes going into escrow in less than 2 weeks. Now, when you look at how many homes go into escrow in less than a month, last month we were at 73%. Again, the previous month we were at 81%. So although it wasn't as dramatic of a decrease, we are seeing, again, more homes sitting on the market a little bit longer in Yorba Linda. Now, the important thing to know is it's still taking on average about 30 days for most homes to sell, which is definitely better than the Orange County area in general, which is sitting right around 42 days. So the Yorba Linda housing market, as usual, is tending to do a little bit better than the Orange County housing market. However, that gap is starting to narrow a little bit over these last 2 months. Okay, so what does this all mean for the housing market going forward? Well, on the demand side, like I said before, interest rates are continuing to come down month after month. Right now, as of this recording, interest rates for a conventional 30-year fixed loan is going to be 6.38%, and if you look at an FHA loan, they're at 5.75%. So this is definitely encouraging buyers to continue entering the marketplace because rates are coming down, making it more affordable to purchase a home right now than it was just a few months ago. Now, because of this, demand has remained relatively stable, and it looks like it's going to remain relatively stable going into the future because the best predictor of what demand is going to look like over the next 30 to 90 days is mortgage applications. So how many new buyers are applying for a mortgage to start looking for a loan? And since the beginning of August, 4 of the last 5 weeks, we've seen those numbers increase. So we're definitely seeing buyers continue to enter the market, keeping demand at a relatively stable baseline as we move forward over the next couple months. Now, on the supply side of things, when you look at all of Orange County, since the month of March, we have been seeing inventory continue to increase. Now, just because it's increasing, don't get fooled, think there's a wave of inventory hitting the market, and all of a sudden we're going to be in a buyer's or a deep buyer's market anytime soon. You want to make sure you put it into context. So far this year, since 2015, we've had the second fewest amount of homes hit the market, only being beaten by last year's numbers. So again, just to provide some additional context, right now, we have about 3,600 homes throughout Orange County sitting on the market right now. If you look at the markets leading up to COVID, so prior to COVID, this time of year, we usually had about 6,700 homes on the market, or 83% more than we currently do right now. So yes, we are seeing supply go up. However, we're not seeing this flood of inventory hit the market. And because demand has stayed relatively stable, while we do have supply continuing to go up slightly, I expect us to be in this type of market for the next month or two at least, because again, supply should start going down as we head over these next couple months. Well, demand really won't do too much unless all of a sudden we see some giant interest rate increase again, which at this point is not really expected. Now again, this is just general information for the entire Orange County area. So depending on the area you're looking at and the price range you're looking at, that can really dictate what the market is doing in those ranges. So if you know the price range that you're trying to purchase a home in, you can check out this graph right up here, and that kind of gives you a better breakdown of exactly what to expect. As you see, once you get above $1.5 to $2 million range, it's definitely taking a little bit longer for homes to sell. Those markets are going to be more cool than anything below the 1.5 million range. So if you're looking at the luxury market, those homes are sitting on the market for a lot longer than they used to, because the demand is just not there right now for those type of homes, especially once you get above the $2 million mark. So again, when you're entering the market, you always want to make sure you're looking at data based on the specific price ranges, as well as the cities that you might be looking at, so that way you properly understand exactly what's happening in those markets. Okay, so now for a quick update on the commission lawsuit that just went into effect in Orange County on August 13th. Now, if you have no idea what I'm talking about yet, you can check the video out right up here if you're watching it on YouTube, where I go over everything you need to know about that commission lawsuit and exactly what to expect. And if you're not watching on YouTube, go ahead, just search on YouTube for Orange County Housing Market News. You can find it there. But it's going to be something that you definitely need to know about if you're thinking of buying or selling a home anytime in the future, because things have definitely shifted. Now, in terms of what's been happening since then, I really haven't seen the market change that much so far. So with the buyers that I've been helping, I've been able to ask for some type of compensation for the buyer, and they're able to use that to pay the commission of my fees. So typically right now, I don't see the buyer having to come out of pocket to be able to purchase a home. Now that might change as things start to settle down and new norms take effect, but as of right now, it seems like most sellers are still open to giving some type of closing cost credit to help the buyer out to pay for an agent. Now, one big thing about this ruling is I think it really came down at the perfect time, because like we've been talking about, the housing market has been slowing down. It's more of a balanced market right now. If we were still in a hot seller's market, I have a feeling you'd see a lot less sellers being willing to do any type of closing cost credit for buyers. So because we are entering this market where it's more balanced, buyers are having more leverage to ask for a higher amount of closing cost credit. So again, that way they're not having to pay agents out of pocket. They can use that closing cost credit to help compensate their agent. So I think this really came at a perfect time when this started rolling out, especially for those buyers looking to purchase a home right now. Okay, so speaking of buyers, let's go ahead and get into my advice for both buyers and sellers, and let's start with those buyers first. So buyers, one of the biggest things I want to bring up right now is that what I've been hearing over on social media, as well as when I talk to my clients, a lot of buyers believe that as soon as the Fed drops interest rates, which they've pretty much already said that they're going to be doing at this point, the interest rates are going to drop even further. So buyers are saying, I don't want to purchase anything or get into the market until the Feds drop the interest rates. Well, unfortunately, that's not how interest rates work. The interest rates for mortgages are not directly tied to what the Fed interest rates are doing. So interest rates have already basically baked in that the Feds are going to be lowering the rate by a 0.25%. So as long as they do that, when September 18th hits, then there's not going to be any really major shifts in interest rates throughout the mortgage market. However, if they lower it more than expected, so let's say they lower it by a 0.5 percentage point, that might impact the market slightly at least, because most people right now are only expecting a 0.25% decrease. If it goes down to a 0.5% decrease, you could see some interest rate shift. But the thing you need to know about as a buyer right now is that as we move forward, this type of market is only going to last for so long in terms of buyers having a little bit of an advantage in some of these situations. So the lower interest rates go, the more buyers enter the market. And like I said before, inventory should be coming down over these next couple months, all the way till the end of the year, which means inventory comes down, demand starts to go up. You're going to be in a more competitive market by the end of the year than you are right now, most likely, if things continue in the same trend that they've been doing. So if you're a buyer right now, you need to understand that you can always refinance. In fact, a lot of lenders are offering free refinancing right now because they understand that one of the major hesitations for buyers right now is they don't want to buy and then all of a sudden interest rates drop. So if you can afford to purchase a house right now, which I know is still a struggle for a lot of buyers, but if you can afford to purchase a house, it's not something I would wait around to see if interest rates continue dropping. Right now, you have some great opportunities to get some great deals in the marketplace, and you really don't want to skip that over because you don't know how long that's going to last. Now, on the selling side of things, yes, your leverage is definitely lower right now than it was at the beginning of summer. However, if your home is priced correctly in a good neighborhood and it's move-in ready, those homes are still flying off the market right now, especially if you price it correctly. So I just did a quick dive into the data just to look at the last 500 sales in Orange County, and those sellers that priced their home correctly typically went into escrow in 13 days, compared to the 42 days of everybody else that didn't price their home correctly and had to drop their prices to be able to get it sold. So you can still sell your home relatively quickly right now if you price it correctly, have the right marketing strategy to make sure you're hitting every single buyer that might be interested in purchasing your home, including social media, print, phone, all those different type of things that your agent should be offering you when you go to sell a home. If you're doing it correctly, you price it correctly based on the condition and the area that you're in, you should still be able to sell your home relatively quickly. The biggest problem I'm seeing right now is a lot of sellers still think that we're in the market that we've seen over the last couple of years, or even just at the beginning of summer, and they're pricing their homes too aggressively, and it just sits there. It sits, and then eventually they have to do a price reduction. And when you do a price reduction after 30 or 60 days, that's when everybody comes out looking for a deal. They're going to offer you lowball prices, and then you're going to have to figure out as a seller, do I accept this lower price to be able to get my home sold, or do I just take it off the market completely? To avoid all of those issues, it's so much smarter just to price your home correctly to start with, and you can get your home sold quickly at a great price, and you can avoid all of that stress by having the right marketing strategy in place. And one thing that I always like to remind sellers is you have to understand the price that you put your house on the market for is a marketing price. It is not the price the house is selling for. It is the price to attract as many qualified buyers to your home as possible that are going to be able to pay top dollar for your home, so you end up getting the best price for your home. So you need to understand that it's a marketing price when you put your house on the market. It's not the final price. Now, if you are thinking of buying or selling a home over the next couple months throughout the rest of the year, but you just want some more information and you want to be able to develop a game plan, that way you can successfully do it when the time comes, feel free to book a 15-minute discovery call with me. It's absolutely free. If you're watching this on YouTube, it will be in the description below. You can click on my calendar and find a time that works for you. If you're watching this anywhere else, you can just DM me the word interested, and I'll go ahead and shoot you a link to the calendar. And again, you can pick a time and date that work best for you. We can have a quick conversation, get that game plan together, so that way you know you're on the right track to be able to either buy or sell a home when the time comes. And again, if you are watching this on YouTube and you want to learn more about the housing market, feel free to check out this video right here where I go over all those new commission rules that you need to know about, or you can check out this video right here where I talk about assumable loans and how you can get an interest rate as low as 2 or 3% even in today's market. So until next time, stay happy, stay healthy, and I'll see you on the next show. Bye, everybody.